Big thanks to Diamond Select Toys for sending this one out. Check out links in the description down below to pick this figure up. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here, and today we are taking a look at the Diamond Select Toys Ava Unit 02. No, it is Saber Athena from Pacific Rim Uprising. Yes, that's right, the completely original Donut Steel Jaeger from the second Pacific Rim movie has a figure released by Diamond Select Toys. It is a nicely sized figure with quite a few accessories and many points of articulation, so that means you should buy it right away, right? Well, I know why you check out reviews, so sit back, relax, and let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. One of the things I would like to make absolutely clear about the Diamond Select Toys Jaeger figures is that they really did a nice job with the detailing on these figures. Whether or not it's going to be the decal-like precision for some of the markings on them, like specifically on Saber Athena, the Pan-Pacific Defense Corps logo at the top of the sternum, or we're going to have battle damage washing and weathering on them, which is going to look nice and it's going to be tasteful in some areas, such as on Saber Athena, like on the thighs or on the shoulder pads. Generally speaking, they went the extra mile to make sure that as these sit up on your shelf, they are going to look good. And I do think as we take a closer look at Saber Athena, instead of this far away 360 spin view, you're going to see some of the finer details really do shine here. Now, at that closer look, the white markings for the con pod on Saber Athena are relatively clean. Unfortunately, there's going to be a little bit of a bleed over, but realistically speaking, we're going to have that from time to time, like we will on those hind wings on Saber Athena's shoulders coming out on the back. Yeah, it's not really perfect, but you know what? It's okay because it's going to be something you're going to notice only up close. Realistically speaking, from a distance, it's not that big of a deal, but that is about where the paint slop, if any, would end for Saber Athena. Moving on down, like I said, we do have the Pan-Pacific Defense Corps logo at the top of the sternum, which looks really nice. I'm very surprised at this price point that companies are able to make decals look that nice. And on the chest, we do have some fantastic sculpting details like that ventilation door that's right there in the center. Continuing on with the rest of Saber Athena, we do notice some fantastic weathering, whether or not it's going to be gold markings that are going to be on the shoulders, or moving on down, we do have some tasteful brown grayish dry brushing that's really going to bring out some of the sculpted details for this Jaeger. The abdomen of Saber Athena does continue that theme of great sculpting with quite a few panels and pistons, as does the upper thigh area of Saber Athena as well. We do have some panel lines continuing on down all the way to the kneecaps that are kind of, I don't know how you would describe that, flocked out, where it does look like, regardless of how it would bend its knees, we do have kneecaps that are kind of floating there. That's an interesting design choice, and quite frankly, I don't know why they would do that aside from maybe some sort of aerodynamic feature that I'm not equipped to understand. We do have those parts on the shins that are going to be floating off to the side. Again, I don't quite know why it's there aside from design choice. Kind of looks like feathers, but regardless, they're there. Moving on down, the mechanical boots of Saber Athena look nice as well. We do have some mechanical parts like gears that are clearly visible. And on the back of Saber Athena, we do have that turbo thruster. And continuing on down, we do have just some more generic mechanical parts like pistons and gears and so forth. So overall, Diamond Select did a really nice job of making sure that Saber Athena was brought to life with a lot of great detailing as well. Saber Athena looks very nice, but how well does it move? Well, let's take a very close look and find out that the head obviously would attach into the neck on a ball joint, so we can twist and turn it from side to side, move it up and down about that much. I wish we could move it up a little farther than that. Yeah, but that's okay. These little doohickeys on the side don't move, but these little wings are on swivels, so you can move them. Which also reveals that, hey, the arms are on joints as well. Ball joints to be exact, so we can move the arms around like that. Also on hinges, so this way we can move them up about that far. So that's cool to see. We do have ball jointed shoulder pads, as you can see here. They do move around. They do move around to help the range of movement a bit, so if you should push too far, they will pop off. We obviously would have the bicep swivel, which is always important for any sort of humanoid figure, especially a swordsman or swordswoman, swordsperson, whatever. We do have elbow hinges. Range of movement there is okay. I mean, we get the sort of 90-degree angle, but I wish we could have another hinge in there, so this way we could have maybe a little more fluid movement, but it works. That's just personal preference there. And then we do have, as you can see here, pegs for the wrists, so that translates into swivel hinge movement, which is good to see. The ab crunch is a ball joint. It is a little loosey-goosey, as you can see here, which I don't think is too great for holding poses, but that's okay here. Not that big of a deal. Where it does come into a big of a deal would be the lower portion of the body, where we do have ball jointed hips, as you can see here. So that's going to be straight up ball joint, not a swivel hinge funky combination. So do keep that in mind. We have movement forward and movement back. So yeah, good job there. They do work, little loose. Saber's fallen over a couple of times, but I do find that the knees on mine are rather unstable. Okay, so we do get the hinged knee, as you can see, and it tends to, for some reason, like to give out somewhere halfway through. So anytime I have Saber in an action pose, I always have to double check to make sure that it's not going to fall over. And then for the ankles, we do have the ankles plugging in on a swivel, we do have a hinge, and then we do have the ankle rocker movement from side to side. So with that in mind, I do think Saber's articulation is pretty good. It's a little better than Gypsy Avengers, I do believe, and it's not as loose as Gypsy Avengers, but at the same time, I do feel like this one may take a couple of shelf dives if you're not careful with where it will be posed on the shelf, and also if you do not have a nice stand supporting it if you have it in an action pose. Neutral poses are good, but if you're going to have an action pose, make sure you have a stand. Accessories time, and we get fists with holes in them, so this way Saber can hold one of the two small swords or the one large sword that it gets, and that would be it. Yeah, it would have been nice if we would have gotten some sort of an effect part to emulate a slash effect, but that's what aftermarket effect parts would be for, and of course, I have a video for that. So the way that everything works, you just kind of pop off the currently attached hands and then you plug in the new ones. They just work on this typical peg system, so that way it's easy to swap out. You're gonna have to try to break something, and the new hands just look like the old ones but closed up. Now, the swords actually do look pretty nice. The paint slop is kind of minimum. There's not too much to write home about for either of these. So do keep in mind that they're going to be pretty basic, straightforward, and they get the job done to really recreate what exactly we saw in the movie. So they do have sort of a plasma energy-like effect to them. They really do glow in real life. They sort of have a neon blue coloration to them, so if you're looking for something to really spice up your shelf, I would definitely recommend displaying your Saber Athena using both swords or just the one big one. So overall, I do think that Diamond Select Toys really did nail Saber Athena in terms of accessories, because there's really not much else they could have included, but at the same time, I wish they would have thrown at least one other thing in there, even if it would have just been a mini Ranger. Now to wrap up the review, here is a size comparison with all three Diamond Select Toys Jaegers, and as you can see, Saber Athena is the middle of the three released so far. So if you're thinking about clearing off some shelf space for all three of these, or just one of them, you have an idea of about how much room you're gonna need. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Generally speaking, I think Saber Athena looks very nice. I would probably have to say one of the best of the three, but the articulation does leave a little bit to be desired. The accessories obviously are going to meet the needs for pretty much any Saber Athena fan. If you're looking to pick this one up for $25, I'm going to have to say it's a pretty solid deal. Nice size, good articulation, looks great, and the accessories meet the requirements to a T. If you're thinking about heading down to your local shop to pick it up, maybe check out some of the links in the description down below, so this way you can place your order today. Am I happy with it? I am. For $25, I do think that it is priced relatively fairly, and considering some of the competition out there, you're getting a pretty solid deal. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description too to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links like the credits for this video and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.